Of the Unitarian Universalist Association engage in such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape on the Emerson Avenger blog. Only very truthful allegations that were solidly supported by publicly available information from credible news sources. I didn't say that in my initial letter. I just said, can't find any blog posts that match your description. Please provide titles or URLs, that is internet addresses or dates or something to identify the blog post you're talking about, because he had not done so in the initial letter. Identify the blog posts that you're talking about. I'll go and look at them and I'll decide what I want to do. And instead of responsibly identifying exactly which blog post he was talking about, Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe wrote back to me on the 4th of June in a second email, essentially saying, this is a very close paraphrase of what he said, it's not the absolute exact words. He said that, my claim, not to be able to find the offending material was not credible, and he told me to, go find it myself, kind of thing. In other words, he refused to provide the titles or internet addresses or dates or whatever that would help me to find the blog post he was talking about. I mean, I knew pretty well which blog post he was most probably talking about, i.e. the blog post about Reverend Mac Wallace Mitchell and Richard Buell, but I wanted him to clearly identify exactly which blog post he was talking about, so I could come back and say, well, what part of convicted did you fail to understand? What part of, didn't you do some fact checking to see if my blog posts were truthful or not before saying they were unfounded and vicious? So, unfortunately, Maitre Coulombe did not ever at any time identify any of the blog posts that he claimed were unfounded and vicious. Essentially what happened is, after his second email back to me, claiming that my claims not to be able to find the offending material were not credible, I did write back to him and say, well, no, you don't understand, Maitre Coulombe. I do know where I wrote about such despicable crimes as pedophilia and rape committed by certain Unitarian Universalist ministers. I just don't know where the unfounded blog posts are. And I never heard from Maitre Marc-Andre Coulombe again, ever. Haven't heard a peep out of him since that second cease and desist demand letter that I received in my email inbox on June 4th of 2012. So the 4 years and 11 months anniversary, as it were, the anniversary minus a month came up just a few days ago, and I sent an email to Maitre Coulombe reminding him that I expected him to formally withdraw his false blasphemous libel accusation against me, and I expect the Unitarian Universalist Association to formally withdraw its false blasphemous libel accusation against me. Got a nice wave from the car going by there. Get some nice positive reinforcement from the public on occasion. That's essentially my position. The Unitarian Universalist Association did, in fact, falsely accuse me of the criminal act of blasphemous libel on Friday, June 1st of 2012. That's when I first was notified of this false blasphemous libel accusation against me. Received the email in my inbox, and I made it very, very clear to the Unitarian Universalist Association and Maître Marc-André Coulombe that until such a time as they formally withdraw that false accusation and publicly and properly apologize for bringing that false, blasphemous libel accusation against me, my position is that they're still accusing me. If you bring an accusation against me and you never withdraw it, then my position is you're standing by that accusation. And so that was, I sent that email to Maître Coulombe and made sure that certain leaders of the Unitarian Universalist Association and certain advocates for victims of clergy misconduct are aware of that email. In fact, in recent years, I can't remember exactly when it happened, but essentially what has happened is that the Unitarian Universalist Association finally blocked me from sending emails to most, if not all, email addresses of the Unitarian Universalist Association. They just, didn't want to hear anymore. They just buried their heads in the sand. And it appears, however, though, that they didn't block absolutely every email address. In fact, I'm quite sure that I actually did get through to Reverend William Sinkford recently. Reverend Sinkford was appointed as the interim co-president of the Unitarian Universalist Association, along with Dr. Leon Spencer, if I'm getting the name correctly, and also Reverend Sophia Betancourt, or Betancourt. I don't know how the Americans pronounce it, but it's Betancourt. It's a French name, essentially, from what I can tell. And I would pronounce it Betancourt. She's a professor of ethics at Starr King Theological School, or School for Ministry, or whatever they call it, down in Berkeley, California. So essentially what we have is a triumvirate, i.e. three-person co-presidency of the Unitarian Universalist Association following the unexpected resignation of Reverend Dr. Peter Beyond Belief Morales on April Fool's Day. Yes, I'm putting emphasis on fools there, of 2017. So just over a month ago. Although the emails that I sent to the board bounced back, some of them anyway, the emails I sent to William Sinkford, also known as Bill Sinkford, in the last week or two, have not bounced back. So I have very reasonable grounds to believe that they actually got through to Reverend William G. Sinkford, also known as Reverend Bill Sinkford, former president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. He was president of the Unitarian Universalist Association from I believe 2001 to 2009, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure Bill Sinkford was elected as the president of the UUA in June of 2001, and was replaced after 2 4-year terms as UUA president when Reverend Dr. Peter Morales was elected as president of the Unitarian Universalist Association in 2009, I guess. Yeah, I think that's right. Might be off by a year on one side or the other, but I don't think so. I think we're pretty well right on the money in terms of the years. So, anyhow, got some people arriving here at the Unitarian Church of Montreal. Don't seem overly happy to see my picket signs. So let's just see here how much time we got left. Yeah, we just got less than 3 minutes of recording time left on this segment of video. Oh, there go the signs again. Yeah, that's why I'm not displaying a whole bunch of freestanding picket signs today, because the wind is blowing over, you know, a whole bag full of them. So if it'll blow over a whole bag full, it's gonna do worse, you know, with individual ones, blow them all over the place. So we'll just put that back up. You know, I basically want the weight of the bag to keep at least one displaying most of the time, so that's what's happening here. But the wind did just blow this all over. Just got a little swig of coffee here. So yeah, we just got a minute and a half or so recording time left here. So because things are pretty quiet, I think we're just going to end this now and start a fresh clip. Because, you know, it's better to be prepared. So yeah, since it's quiet, I'm just going to end this now and start a fresh clip.